Hello and welcome back to the Find Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It has been an absolute journey to get here. If you have followed us on Instagram, you will see the commotion that we've had with trying to record.
We've been having some serious technical problems. Honestly, I think I've spent I'm not even exaggerating, about 20 hours of my life trying to figure out what this horrible buzzing sound is in our studio, and we've got to the bottom of it, but we're in like a makeshift setup today, so it might sound slightly different. Still sound fine, but we're using like our old microphones and all of that jazz. Different setup in the studio. If you're watching on YouTube, we look different today. But you know, this is it, right? You know, you start something, you're never going to know everything before you start. You learn as you go. There's no way Google or YouTube could have ever taught us what we've had to go through the last few weeks trying to figure this out. This is why you've got to, as you always say, take the leap before you're ready.
Exactly.
Dive into your side hustle and your projects. You just learn it on the way. We've become sound engineers in the process of starting a podcast, so look out, we're going to start a new sound engineering business soon.
I'm literally proud of how persistent we were with working that out, because it has been a bit of a nightmare, guys. But we're dedicated to the quality of this. We don't want you to listen to it without like weird sounds and stuff.
Yeah, we want the sound quality to be top notch, so your listening experience is enjoyable.
Yes, we basically turned into sound engineers, but we're here, we're recording, and today we're talking all about how to fall back in love with your body, because we both love this subject so much, but it's something like we don't talk about that much.
Yeah, like our second episode of the podcast was on this, and it was like a really popping episode, like as in from the reaction from people listening. And then it's something that we do all the time, like our own brains, like trying to, you know, be loving towards our bodies and like having a positive body image and stuff like that. But then I don't know why we just stopped talking about it on the podcast, but it is something that resonates a lot with everyone. And it's, you know, I'd say especially women, but men as well have this. It's actually the same. So it's like a topic that, you know, everyone's sort of affected by. So thought we'd do a new episode on it, because it was about 100 and it was literally like 117 episodes ago or something that we last spoke about, which is madness. But, you know, obviously in that time we've picked up new tools, new tricks, and we were talking about other things in that as well. It wasn't just about like body image. So this episode is dedicated to just that whole topic. So you will leave this episode feeling like you've got a new mindset on how to approach your body. Maybe you're feeling insecure at the minute, or you're struggling. You know, we all go through those periods, and we're gonna have a girls chat and boys chat about it today.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes as well, when it comes to your own body image, there may be things that you like say to yourself or behaviours you have that you might not even realise are actually like quite toxic and negative towards your own body. So I think even just like listening to episodes like this kind of creates more awareness around how you speak to yourself. And yeah, like you said, I feel like we picked up like loads more tips since that episode. Like that seems so long ago.
Oh, we were little babies.
Yeah. So we're going to fill you in with all that and get you feeling good and on that journey to loving your body. So we're going to go over many tips and tricks within this episode, but one thing that really, really helped me on my own journey to loving my body was going to therapy. And it's actually not something that I thought I was going to speak about therapy. You know, you never really know what you don't really know what you're going to speak about. But yeah, I went through this huge section with my therapist on the way I looked at my body, and it really, really helped me dissect how my past had played a role in how I was looking at my body and how I was speaking to myself. And it really helped me connect the dots. And I think I probably wouldn't have got to those realizations without therapy. So as we always say, we are huge advocates of therapy, and that's just one of the many things that I personally work through in therapy. For you, it could be completely different. But that is why we are very proudly sponsored by BetterHelp, who are an online therapy company whose mission is to help you start living a happy life today, whatever it is that you need help for.
That's right. Therapy has been a huge part of both me and Abby's self-development journeys. Wherever you are listening to this podcast right now, BetterHelp's service is available to you, as it is all done online from the comfort of your own home. It's on their secure private service. It's not a crisis line. It isn't self-help. It is professional licensed therapists connecting with you from the comfort of your own home, providing you the support that you need.
So if you do want to embark on your own therapy journey with BetterHelp, you will simply go onto their website and fill in a questionnaire so they can get a better idea of what you want out of a therapist. And then after that, they will match you with your own therapist in under 2 days. And then if you are matched with a therapist and you actually think, oh, I want to work on something slightly different, I want a different professional, then they will change for free until you're happy.
studies have shown that if you connect with your therapist, if you feel like you like their vibe, you can really open up to them, you just connect and you meet them on the same level, that you actually get a much better experience out of therapy than if you're with someone that you're not that keen on. So it's really important that you find someone who you just click with so that you can get the most productive outcome from your therapy sessions, because it is an investment of your time, your energy and your money, so you want to make it work for you. And that is why BetterHelp is the perfect option to go to, because if you don't like therapists, you can just swap. No awkwardness, just a little swap online, easy, done. So if you feel like you want to start your therapy journey, this is all appealing to you, and you feel like you want some professional support and one-on-one care from a professional therapist, then just head to the link betterhelp.com/fanyourfeet to get 10% off your entire first month of online therapy. So it's going to work out for you around £160 a month with the discount. So it's working out about £40-50 per session, which for therapy is a great price. So if you feel like that's you, just head to betterhelp.com/fanyourfeet for 10% off your entire first month of therapy.
But that is all for now. Let's jump into the episode. So as we said today, we're going to talk about how to fall back in love with your body, because obviously in the society we grow up in, it is a lot about your physical appearance. And I think before you even know it, you're growing up and you're in your teenage years, depending kind of like what are you growing up with, and all the hormones start to come in, and before you know it, like your whole self-worth is based on your appearance, and you can completely lose the essence and like the beauty and like the actual reality of what your body does for you. So I think like personally for me, my self-love journey with my own body began when I realised that my body is so much more than just the physical appearance. Like it does so much more than that. Like my physical appearance is such a tiny, tiny part of my body. And I think once you start to really understand and appreciate your body every single day, show that gratitude, that is when your whole relationship with it transforms, because how could you possibly like beat up your own body for how it looks? But obviously it's a very natural thing to do with tabloids. I want to say tabloids, do they even call that anymore?
Well, yeah, everyone knows what tabloids, you like remember what they were.
Tabloids, or maybe it's like in school being picked on, maybe it's comparing yourself to people. It's very easy to fall down these traps, but I think personally for me, that's where my journey started, and that kind of like rounds it all up for me, is looking at your body as way more than just a physical object. And then once I kind of realised that, I think from there, it just starts with those little daily practices and the little changes, the way you speak to yourself. And don't get me wrong, it's not always that like upward trajectory. Like there are days where you may not feel like you love your body at all, but I think really starting yourself the journey, wherever you are, whoever's listening, I think it just comes down to that like daily practice of those really small little changes on like the way you speak to yourself.
Yeah, because you can't change any of it unless you have some form of awareness of how you're actually speaking to yourself in the first place. You know, hopefully maybe in this episode you'll get awareness of like the things you're saying, because it's even like, you know, like really small random things that girls always do, maybe boys do as well, I don't know, but like you walk past a mirror and you pull up your top.
Yeah. And just have like a look.
Yeah, just pull it right up, get everything out. No, you just lift it up and look at your stomach. Like it's like a thing that I think a lot of people do. Like I've seen people talking about it on like TikTok and stuff like that, so I know I'm not the only one that like does random stuff like that. Like, you know, when you check your morning skinny, they call it.
Oh yeah.
Where obviously in the morning you've like your body's like digested all stuff most of the time anyway. So you're quite free of bloat by the morning. And obviously at the end of the day you've eaten food, you've been moving about, so obviously you're bloated, and then it goes back down again overnight. But like even stuff like that, like open it, pull it up, maybe like each time you want to, you're a bit more bloated, and you're like, oh, start saying something horrible to yourself. But even that like pulling it up to criticize, you can still pull up your top if you want and say, rah, look at that. Fire. You know, but it's not saying that every time you're doing it it's to be bad, but like it's like I think most of the time people are doing it though to like, you'd be like, oh, how am I looking today, whatever. But you know, it's even just like little things like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what are we actually checking?
Yeah.
It's like you're checking your own like worth again. But I think we should kick it off with the way that you kind of speak to yourself and affirmations, because I actually really funnily, so obviously it's taken us like quite a few times to try and record this, because as we said at the start, lots of technical difficulties. But it's actually funny because I always like implement these practices into my life. Mirror work and the way I speak to myself. So if I look in the mirror, if I'm going for a wee or whatever, and I pull up my top and I think something nasty, I will then repeat something positive. Like I will change the affirmation.
Like what?
But
I am a 10.
So I am a 10. No, so I'll say like, my body is peaceful, my body is sacred, and stuff like that. And it really, really does help. Yeah, it helps so much. But and this is what, like, going back to what I just said about how when you start to love your body, it's not always just upwards from there. Because literally this morning, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I've got a 2-piece green kind of outfit
looking fire.
Thank
looking
you.
Like a 10.
That I bought for our photo shoot. And I put it on this morning, and because this really, I wanted to mention this because it really reminds me of how I used to act. So I put it on this morning and I noticed that the waistband was slightly tighter. Really not much, just slightly tighter. And I had to stop myself because I had to catch it, because the old me, and I don't know if anyone can relate to this, like the old me, if that would have happened, I would have been like, oh my God, I've put on weight. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Oh my God, I'm going to eat way less today. Oh my God, what have I been eating? Oh my God, losing my head. And this morning I felt and I thought, I was like, these have gone a bit tighter. That's a bit strange, because they were quite baggy when we did that shoot. But then instead of spiraling to all that, I use the tools that I use and that I know work, and it helped me so much. I don't feel any negativity towards that at all. And the ironic thing is they actually look better now because they were too big before anyway. But yeah, so as I was looking in the mirror, I came back to my tools. So I will always just say to myself, my body is beautiful, my body is beautiful. And actually just coming back to the reality of it, what maybe I put on a few pounds or something. But I was like, for one, I sprained my ankle the other week. So I've been healing from that. I'm grateful for my body to be healing. Do you know all the things that are not physical?
In the gym all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I was like, I'm not going to stand here and be a victim to my own thoughts through conditioning. And beat myself up and feel bad and eat less when my body does so much for me. My body woke me up this morning. My body got me out of bed. My body helped me put on these clothes.
Yeah, you're breathing, you're talking, you're walking.
Exactly. So I was like, I refuse to literally be a victim of my own mind and let my thoughts beat me up. But not that I'm angry at myself. I understand that's through my past conditioning. But it was a turning point for me this morning, because I thought, this mirror work really, really works, because I just stood there and I thought, my body's beautiful, my body's beautiful, my body's beautiful. And I imagine myself as an outside person, so I kind of imagine myself as you. And I thought, well, what would Grace say to me now if I was stood here saying,
she'd say, you look like a 10.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, Grace would say I look like a 10. Exactly. So I think you have to think, instead of letting your inner critic win sometimes, you have to think, well, how would actually my best friend speak to me? They definitely wouldn't say anything like that. And yeah, I feel like I switched it around really quickly. So that's definitely one of my best tips, is mirror work and affirmations, and reminding yourself that it's not just about what you see in the mirror.
Yeah, it's powerful, man, powerful. Yeah, because it's the way you form this negative body image, because like I said, conditioning, which is things that we've all grown up absorbing from the media and all of that stuff. And we actually grew up in an era where it was actually really toxic, all the media we used to consume about bodies. It's obviously changed loads now, which is really good, and we'll chat more about that in the episode. But it's words, that's what you're using against yourself. It's that's how you're doing negative body image is your words, whether you're saying them out loud or just in your head. It's that. So if you can just swap it to be positive affirmations, positive words, then it is going to make a massive difference. But what you were saying about it not fitting on the waist, whatever, that also could be because you've washed them and they've shrunk a bit.
I did actually think that.
Do you know what I mean? No, but as in
then that will let you spiral. And
it's because I think and you see loads of people talking about online, about Zara sizing, and I fucking hate it. I love Zara, but I can't get my arse in anything in there. On the pants region anyway, I can wear the tops and dresses, but their sizing is just absolutely off the rocker. It's not normal. But anyway, so it's you're going into all these different shops as well, and they've all got different sizing because there isn't actually an international standard. And I know that because I worked in the industry for years of producing clothes for retailers like that. So it's every company has a different standard for sizing that they measure against, and they just make sure that they keep consistent in their own store. But brand on brand, there's brands all over the world, they're all different. But it's you can go into a shop and try on a pair of whatever in Zara and not get into it, then go into a different shop and be able to get in swap a size, and you're in something else and you think, oh shit, and you start spiraling and thinking, that your body's changed and you start beating yourself up and you're like, you know, and actually like I feel like you can really let your confidence go just from things like that actually your body hasn't changed and maybe it's always been the same, but just because the sizing in shops aren't comparable per one, they're all so different. But obviously we don't think like that, so it's even like little things like that can actually really affect people's confidence as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, yeah, like the thing, like you said, like all the sizes are slightly different, and then sometimes, well, I feel like people are moving away kind of from size. But remember, like when we were growing up, I honestly feel like it was like a thing, like as in what size you were.
Oh yeah, like, dress size, because it was always like in the campaign, so it was like drop a dress size with this diet and do this, and it and
it was like you were literally like
what dress size are you?
Like labeling yourself, like putting yourself down to a size. So like now when I like consider what size I am, like I don't think I'm a size. Like I'm all different. Like everyone's body is so unique. I don't think anyone's really a size. Like I just think it's quite like obviously we need it to know what to pick up, but I think it's just quite an old-fashioned way to look at it, and I think that actually helped me as well, just thinking I'm like different sizes all over, and I just like, to be honest, sometimes I just pick it up and look what size it looks, do you know what I mean? Because like you said, some are so different, it's beyond a joke.
Yeah, and like depends on the shape of the clothes as well, and the brand. Like there's so many variables that go into it, but you know, if you're not thinking like that, then all you'll do is your brain will automatically go to, oh shit, like I've, you know, my body's changed and I don't like it or whatever, like oh god, I'm not the size I used to be or anything like that, and you just start to, you know, because like how many women spiral in a changing room? A lot.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting is that, like, obviously we won't talk about COVID too much because we know we're all like, God, can we stop? But like we have been in this pandemic, and I think there's like been a post-COVID body image because like we went from wearing, you know, smart clothes all the time, going into the offices, being out all the time, you know, and then we went into leggings and trackies for 2 years. Like literally everyone's wardrobe changed, and now we're like getting back out of the habit of that. Now everyone's, I feel like, you know, wearing a lot of different things, but like we were wearing that day in day out. So obviously, you know, you're wearing like stretchy things as well, but also during that time, like you're not really leaving the house at all, so your activity level has gone down so much, even if you didn't even go to the gym before, but just because you're not doing steps, you're not walking as much, you're not moving as much, so obviously your activity level goes down. And then potentially you did eat more during that time because what else were we going to do, you know, banana bread and all of that was life. You know, you were like getting so gassed over like baking something. It was nice because we were getting really excited over really simple joys in life, but you know, potentially you were eating more as well as like a source of comfort, which is fine during that pandemic, just to get you through, because all you're trying to do is just survive it. Do you know what I mean? You're just trying to not catch it, but then also just trying to get through as well. So it was mad stressful. Like I know we're out of it now, and we won't talk about it for too long because, you know, we're all over it, but like you know, so there's that as well. Like I feel like a lot of, I don't know about men, but like women, you know, because then they go back to try and put on the jeans that they used to wear pre-COVID, and they're like, oh, this doesn't fit. And it's like, well, also it's been 2 years. Obviously, your body's going to change because it naturally always changes as you change. Like as you grow, you change. Your face changes. Like everything, you know, the shape of your face changes. Like so much changes as you age, and that's not a negative thing. It doesn't mean you just continue to expand as you get older, but like your actual physical shape changes. You might have been training differently as well for the last 2 years. Maybe you couldn't get in the gym, so you're doing a different kind of exercise. It meant your body changed. Like it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but like I feel like there's been a lot of people as well that have had like, you know, that post-COVID negative body image because you know, like things did change, but your lifestyle was flipped upside down. So you know, it's like, and the main thing is that you just made it through that time. It wasn't an easy time, and that you made it through hopefully healthy physically and also just mentally. It was hard to stay mentally sane. It was. So, you know, like, as in, and again, like thinking about your body from that like gratitude perspective as well, because it's like, right, well, my body carried me through a pandemic. Yeah, maybe I did gain a few pounds or whatever, and I don't get into my pre-COVID jeans anymore. Who cares? Buy a new pair, treat yourself. But like, you know, you made it through. You survived. And that's the main thing. Yeah, and I think that's so easy to forget as well. Yeah. But I think as well, like everything you just said there can translate into like any period of where someone might be having like
bad mental health, or maybe you're like going through something, and maybe not even like even your body might not change, but maybe like your habits change. Maybe you're going through something mentally and you're not going to the gym and you're starting to beat yourself up. I think coming back to that, and I do it all the time, it's like reminding yourself like the priority is for me to feel better, and if those things actually don't fit into your life right then that's fine. I think when someone maybe like put on a bit of weight and they've been dealing mentally, and then the main priority is for them to lose weight, and it's like, no, it's like you could die next week. Like, the main priority is for you to feel happy. But I think that's so easy to forget, because we're always programmed. Like, all the adverts we see, everything is programming us. Like, what does your hair look like? What does your body look like? The physical body. But if you struggle mentally, or if you've been through periods where you've slipped off, like, prioritize your mental health, because that is really, really the most important thing. And then once that's better anyway, that's when you can start feeling healthier in your body and happier. But I think, definitely, just like, if you're ever feeling like that, relate back to COVID and think, well, I got through that, I was healthy, so I'm going to think that way now. Like, I'm going to be grateful that I'm healthy.
Like, just with any patch of your life, like any big change that might bring about stress, or, you know, something, I don't know, something not even like that's a bad thing, but just even positive change, it still is, your body's got to adapt. Like, your mind as well has got to adapt to the change. That's a stress in itself, regardless of whether it is a positive change. So it's like, you know, you might maybe move into a new job, or move, it means you're out of your routine and you need to like adjust. It means that maybe you don't go to the gym, you can't go to your gym anymore because it's not near your work, or something like that. Or maybe you move countries and it's like you just need to settle into moving there, and they're positive changes. But that might mean that then, you know, maybe you feel more stressed. Then, like, you know, there's all these things that affect how the bloating and everything that you get based on like cortisol in your body, which is from stress, all this stuff. And it's like, just like, that's what I mean. Like, don't like be harsh on yourself, don't beat yourself up. Like, you know, you're just getting through your life as and when you need to.
Yeah, for sure. And I think another thing that like massively changed the game for me in terms of body positivity, and kind of reframing your own mindset, is following like body positivity influencers.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, like that has been a huge part of my journey, and there's so many reasons behind why that is a huge factor that goes into it. But I think the main thing is the fact that, as we've said, when you're growing up, and like, we probably don't even remember half of the things that we saw, but you know, like all the magazine covers with like fingers and like, oh yeah, whoever put on like 2 pounds, whatever.
It was like horrible things like beach
really
bodies,
bad.
best and worst. Yeah. And they've like paparazzi snapping celebs on abroad, like when they're just on holiday relaxing, and like them putting them in best and worst category. Like, it's like, that was so toxic.
Yeah, I literally remember thinking, because, you know, like when I was younger, I always wanted to be famous, and I remember thinking, I never want to be famous enough, because I don't want to be put on one of those things with like my bum out or whatever. But I mean, now I would love to
take a picture of my ass.
Yeah, fine. I would literally like take a picture and say like I don't care. But that's why I think, because we consumed so much of that, it's now time to like almost reprogram that. And obviously the majority of us look at Instagram quite a lot of the time. So I think looking at body positivity people that really have like those different kind of bodies, and it's not just say bigger, if you're like a smaller girl, maybe looking at smaller people, something that seems more normal to you is going to help you unlearn all that conditioning. Because as well, like I heard this video and I thought that is so true. I think, I can't remember for the life of me where I heard it, but someone was saying that like, obviously for advertisements and stuff to work, obviously they play into like your insecurities,
your pain points.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like so unconscious as well. But they were saying that like literally like 2% of the world actually look like people on adverts. Like, they're just models. They're literally models. So, you know, like you see an advert for like makeup or whatever, and you think, God, they look beautiful or whatever, and it's like they are a model, but it's like most people don't look like that. Or especially like with bikini wise, like, see if you see like a campaign and they're all really, really slim, or like, say for example, like Love Island, the majority of the girls are very, very slim on there. But in the actual reality of the world, people aren't like that. But we completely forget that, because that's what is like tuned into us. Like, if you buy this product, if you get this weight loss program, you're going to feel better, you're going to have more self-worth. But I think you have to kind of like come back to your own responsibility and think, what can I do to consume more normal bodies? And I think that can really start with Instagram. And that's why I love the movement of body positivity, because there's so many people putting themselves out there, and it's changing like the mindset of others without even noticing it.
Yeah. Like, people were obviously slagging off the body positivity movement at one point, saying like, oh, people were doing it for clickbait, for likes, just to get their engagement up. And maybe a few people rode on it for that, who knows? But actually there's like so many women that have like, you know, that are these like fashion influencers or whatever that are of these different sizes than what we're used to seeing in the media. And it's made a huge, for me anyway, it's made a huge impact on my like view of like how I feel about my own body and all stuff like that. Because I like will see them on Instagram, see these accounts that I follow, and I'm like, God, you look unreal. Like, because it's like, and we'll get onto this as well, like I think confidence and that glow that you get when you just looking at someone think, God, you look amazing, it's from within. Like, it's because they believe that they look good. Like they're like, so it shines out of you. That confidence is like contagious. You can feel it, you can see it. It's like an energy, and you can see it on these girls that you know, they aren't what the is the like typical old school beauty standard. So I look at them and be like, God, you look unreal. And then I think you look so beautiful, and wow, 10. And then maybe I'll go away and then catch myself looking at myself and thinking, or feeling something bad about myself, negative about my own body, and I think, what the fuck, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how can I hate on myself in this moment when, you know, 2 hours ago I was on Instagram, I was looking at another girl who's like maybe similar size to me or bigger or whatever, a different size, and I'm like, you look amazing. It doesn't make sense. That's what I mean. That's where like that conditioning runs so deep to just automatically like pull yourself apart and like hate on your body. And then, you know, these body positivity influencers are actually really helping to disrupt that pattern in your brain, because I'm like, you know, there's a disconnect there. That doesn't make sense. How can I look at you and think you look amazing and then be harsh about myself? It's like, no, if I can see the beauty in you, then I can find it in me too. So that, you know, they're so powerful for doing that for people, and I'm like, that's why I like have mad respect for them. I'm like, yeah, like keep it up, keep going. Like, don't listen to anyone that's shit saying, oh, you're just doing it for engagement, blah blah blah. It's like, no, like you don't. I think like the effect of that they're having on people is like invisible in a way, because like they're not gonna know the true depth of how they're like. You know, like people like Ashley Graham, like she's so powerful.
Yeah, so powerful.
Like her TikToks and stuff like are really moving. Like just these simple messages that she puts on. It's like you can see her stood there and like, and again, she's glowing, she's radiating confidence because she's built it from inside. Yeah, you know, she's not morphed herself to be what this standard of beauty is and then allowed herself to be confident. She's let herself be confident exactly as she is, and that's why she's like infectious. You like can't stop looking at her. And that, so it's like, but you can do that for yourself as well. Yeah, through like what you were talking about, affirmations, mirror work, that positive self-talk. So it runs deep in us, and it's like, you know, but there's so much going on in society to like move away from it. It's really, really, really exciting. It's really good.
Yeah, definitely. I hope in like absolute like years to come, and I think it will be, that it will become so much more of the normal to accept like your authentic body. Because you know, like when you look back on like the trends over the years, you know, like I can't remember like when, but you know, like 50s, it might have been like bigger hips or whatever.
Yeah, and then it like went body like shapes come in style, don't they?
Yeah, which is like nuts. But I do feel like now more than ever, obviously people are really embracing their authentic bodies. And I think, like you said, the more they allow themselves to be free and be authentic, it allows other people to do that too. And that idea of being free, I think literally rounds up like accepting your body, because you can completely put yourself in a cage for years and years and years if you beat yourself up about your own body, because at the end of the day, it's just your body. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what is so sad as well, right? Because everyone listening will do this. You'll look back at old pictures of yourself and you think, God, you look amazing. And then you remember that actually at that time you thought you looked horrible. Yeah. You thought you didn't look nice, like you were beating yourself up. You were going out and you feeling unconfident and you felt like shit because you were telling yourself you looked shit. And then a few years ago and you thought, oh, you're a little angel, look at you, amazing. And it's like, but no, you like, you know, that's what I mean. You don't want to like do that with how you are now. Yeah, because you'll look back in the future now and think, God, look at you, little stunner. Yeah, look at you go. And then, you know, because again, your body will change. It constantly changes, not in a negative, bad way, but as in just with as you grow and age, it just does.
Yeah, exactly. Because I've seen that before. People saying that like you look back and you think, oh, it looks so bad, and then you realize it was never about how I looked, it was about the mindset I had.
Yeah.
So once you change that mindset, that's really when the game changes. Because one thing we always like say in our workshops as well, which I just always love, is like imagining yourself as like an old woman or an old man and looking back at pictures. Like, do you want to look back and, like, as you just said, think, I look really good there, but I remember feeling like so crap and beat myself up? Or do you want to literally just spend a little bit of time working on your own body image and really starting to love your body? So then all your life you can literally just set yourself free and just live your life and enjoy it and be healthy and be happy, and look back and think, I remember feeling really good in that picture and I look really good, because that is literally setting yourself free. And I think that's why this topic is like so important, because you can completely put yourself in a cage.
And on the topic of pictures, it's just a bit random, but I was just thinking there, like, you know, there's all these apps now where you can edit. You can edit everything. You can change the shape of your face. You can change everything. And well, I know there's filters and it's a whole conversation. We won't go too much into it. But like, even with the apps, like you can change the shape of your body. You can make your like thigh look a bit smaller or whatever. And I just think, no hate, no judgment, like, to anyone that does that. But I like, I'm always like, I try and just never do that to myself, my own pictures now, because I know that, because I think actually editing your images in that way breeds insecurity too. Yeah. Because you're like, it grows it within you, because you're like, okay, so I'm not enough, so I'll edit this picture and then I put it out there and then I get positive validation from it. And then I'm like, oh, but in my head I'm like, oh, but I actually don't deserve it because that's not actually how I look. So it like feeds insecurity even more. And obviously it's so tempting to use those apps, and like, no shame, no judgment if you do, like, you know, we've all done stuff like that, but I like just really try and like never do that. Or even just like with editing my face as well, you know, like it's so easy, oh, you just can whiten my teeth or whatever, smooth things up, and like, yeah, fair enough, you might want to take a spot if you've got a big you know, big thing on your chin or whatever, and it's ruining the picture. It's like, fair enough, that's not going to exist on your face for the rest of your life, do you know what I mean? Like, just get rid of it. But I just, you know, like, it's like a slippery slope, and I think it just breeds more insecurity. So it's like, you want to look back at the picture as well and like know that you didn't kind of modify them, like, as tempting as it is, that they are, it was what you look like. So then you're not looking back with a feeling as well.
Yeah, I know, because imagine like looking back on years to come and thinking, oh my god, did I look like that? Or I can't remember. Because
I think you can as well, even like, you start to forget you've edited pictures, and you, because it's on such like a sort of subconscious level, when you look at a picture and you think, oh, I look better there, and it's like, well, actually I edited that.
Yeah,
like,
I did that from a picture ages ago. And I was like, oh my god, I look really good there. And then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, I think I remember editing that, and it was ages ago, but I was like, I edited that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm comparing myself to an edited version of myself.
Yeah, like this thing, like, nuts. You just don't realise. Yeah, I mean, even just with social media as a whole, like with Instagram, because, you know, like Instagram's more like, I don't want to say flexing, but yeah, a little bit flex, you know, like, as in like, it's like, it's not stunting, like it's all fake, but it's like where you go to show your best polished self, whereas TikTok is like, you know, more fun, and like, I love that platform's bringing that to social media. But you can even start comparing yourself to your social media version, regardless of whether you edited your pictures, just from your own highlight reel.
Yeah,
you
can be like, jealous of your own
life. Look at social media, me living a best life. I feel like shit right now, you know, like, do you know what I mean? Or like thinking, true. I used to have loads of fun, look at my highlight reel. And it's like, and you forget, because you forget how you feel, and you know, so it's yeah, that's
nuts. I remember seeing that and I was like, oh my gosh, like, people in our generation are becoming jealous of their social media life.
Yeah, like just themselves, which sounds crazy, but it happens.
And I think if you're one of those people, you think, oh my god, I think I do that, then I think that is just the point where you have to think, like, am I putting out authentic stuff, or am I being fake? Am I wanting my life to seem different than it is? Like, if that's causing you like kind of like a disconnect and thinking, then there's something slightly wrong there, I think. But yeah, how mad that like that's what's kind of happening now.
Yeah, I know. But back to like how the energy and like the contagiousness of someone who's confident in who they are, and especially when they're like sort of confident in who they are and they again go against that old school beauty standard. But even just like in terms of your friendships, like if you are that person that like loves and accepts themselves and is confident, and you know, you're just unapologetically your friends around you are going to pick up on that, and they're going to start to adopt that within themselves as well. Any hater friends you've got will get triggered by it, and they'll try and like suppress you, silence you, and stop, like, you know, dim your light, but just fuck them. You know, you don't want people like that in your life. and they're only doing it because you're literally mirroring to them what they really struggle with in themselves, like that they can't be like that confidence. That's why they want to hate on you. That's why people get trolled online, all of that stuff. But even like in terms of your friendship groups and everything, like you can be a huge influence and gift and have such a positive impact on your friends just by you loving and caring about yourself, because it just rubs off. So it's like, it's not like you have to be like, by the way, friend, I love my body, I love it, I love this, I love that. You don't need to say that, but it's just the essence, the energy. It's contagious. Like you can see it and see it through a screen. So it's like if you're doing that as well in real life, then that's going to like rub off. You become who you're around, so it's going to rub off on them, and then they're going to start vibing, and then you're going to vibe more, and you're just going to be like killers.
Yeah, I think like more than we like to admit, I think people are such like sheep. So I think if you're in a kind of group, or if you're in a friendship group and you're very used to criticizing your body and the people around you do it, then you will naturally do it, and like there's no shame there, because I think that's so natural to do. Like it actually will feel slightly odd to like go against the crowd and think, oh, I'm just gonna start saying I love my body when they're saying the complete opposite. So I think take into account who you're around and what they're saying. But I think if you kind of like have the bravery to step forward and work on your own self-love journey and start saying positive affirmations, and if your friend speaks bad about their body, say like, why are you saying that stuff, like questioning things. If you do that, then like you said, that really rubs off. I've literally seen that. I've seen it from you to me, from me to you, from friends that I've lived with. They've literally said to me like, I can't believe the way I'm actually looking at my body since you started kind of outwardly saying like what you've changed in your life about your body. Like it's completely an energy. So I think really take into account that like when you start to heal your relationship with your own body, you're also healing like everybody else at the same time. It's like a collective healing.
Yeah, it's powerful. But one like final point before you kind of wrap up the chat, but is about exercise, because exercise like is obviously essential. Like you need to do it. You have to do it, whether it's a walk or something gentle or whatever. Like you need to have some form of exercise in your life to stay healthy. It's really important to move your body, but it's really important as well to like have the right intention behind why you're doing it, because you can have quite like a toxic intention behind it, where you're like, oh, I have to go to the gym because I need to burn X amount of calories because I ate this meal or whatever, and I need to burn it off, or I need to earn my food. Things like I need to go to the gym and burn loads so that then I'm allowed to eat whatever, and just even like I need to go just because I don't love my body and I need to change it. And you get into this like real sort of grapple with yourself and like this war, and then you end up not even getting the results that you want out of the gym, because you can't work, your body won't compromise with you, won't work with you if you hate it. Like it will push back against you. Like you have to like have that loving connection with it and like friendship, and it's like a synergy. I think so, like having a good, peaceful, like positive intention behind why you want to exercise. Yes, fair enough. If you want to change your body shape and you want to get in better shape, you go on a holiday, you want to feel confident, like that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, where that line is, where it's like, it's getting too far, because you feel it in your head, because you feel restricted and shit, and like your confidence goes down and all of that kind of stuff. But if you like have that intention of like, I want to move my body today because I need to, like as in, to feel better, I need to, in my mind, in my body, to feel healthier, I need to move it, and because I want to show it love, then you have a much better experience out of exercise and your relationship to it and your result from it as well. Like like just when you're approaching how you're moving your body in that way from love and acceptance already, then when you're like just looking at your body in the mirror, because you're kind of taking those actions from that place of love and acceptance, then when you're looking in the mirror, you're like looking at it from love and acceptance as well, rather than like if you've got that really, like I said, that grappling relationship where you just feel like you're like trying to grab it and it's trying to like get away from you. That's what it feels like when you're like being that that way with yourself. Then you're not going to be in the change room being like, I can't get my bum in these jeans, but instead of thinking, oh, see, I'm not working hard enough in the gym, I'm not doing enough, I need to restrict more, I need to do this, you think, maybe this sizing's fucked. Maybe my ass got bigger and who cares? Like, do you know what I mean? You'll have a different approach to it. Yeah, definitely. Because I think as well, if you are like hating on your body and you're telling yourself, oh, I need to work out more, I need to like burn more calories and all this, when you actually burn the calories and lose fat, if you do,
then you're never ever going to feel satisfied anyway, because you're coming from a place of hatred. Like, you're not going to feel satisfied. You're always going to want more. And you could find yourself, like, you see people that, like, maybe they've been, like, they're unhealthy in their weight and they want to lose weight. That's absolutely fine. But then you find that they could lose a load of weight, and then they've still got really low self-worth and they don't love their body. And it's like, I almost want to, like, give them a hug and be like, if you actually just loved and accepted your body, like, you would just release so much, stress that you're holding.
Yeah.
Because your body is actually fine. You just literally need to set yourself free again.
Yeah.
But no, 100% about, like, the exercise, because the one thing that I've started doing, which I'm, like, absolutely buzzing over, is going back to dance. And, like, that for me is just so fun, because that is, like, fully celebrating my body. Like, I love working out, but I would rather do that than working out. And, like, that's a perfect example of something where I'm literally celebrating my body. And, like, I had a moment there the other day where I thought, because usually I used to go to the gym, like, ages ago, and I would, like, be very conscious of, like, how my body looked in the gym. Like, I'd be like, oh, it's like my stomach's sticking out, like, obviously gym pants so tight. I'd be like, oh, and, like, I was there, like, flying around this, like, dance studio without a care in the world, like, and I was like, I literally feel so good in my body. Like, I'm celebrating my body and moving it. And that's, like, a perfect example. Like, if you're stuck in a routine and you don't feel that good with you working out, like, do something you really enjoy. It might not be dance, it might be something like Pilates you love. Like, something the way you're celebrating your body and, like, coming home to it. I think that's an absolute game changer.
Yeah, it is. And just, like, remind yourself of that feeling of how good it feels to move your body like that. Like
for you.
Yeah, because, like, one of the big game changers for me has been in having a more positive body image and acceptance has been the workout app that I use from Melissa Wood Health, who, manifesting her to come on the podcast one day. Everyone keep it in your prayers. But, like, she at the end of every single workout, she says, she makes you close your eyes, she makes you, like, put your hands at your heart, like, in prayer at your heart, and, like, just come back to center yourself, and just she every single time she's like, notice the difference in your mind, like, not just in, like, having a physical result, but as in how better you feel that shift from moving your body and, like, showing yourself love in that way. So because of that, that's become a habit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like repeat becomes like a thought pattern in your brain. So now that's then you start to crave movement because it makes yourself feel better, rather than, like, lugging it to the gym out of forcing yourself, because from a place of self-hatred, because you're like, come on, you're not good enough, so we need to go to the gym because this is going to make us good enough, which is, it's a draining thought. It doesn't give you any energy at all. Yeah, no, completely. But I think we should round it up maybe with so there's this affirmation that I say to myself. So maybe we haven't really spoken much about comparing, but obviously that's a huge thing within, like, body positivity, is comparing ourselves to other people. And I have this affirmation, I can't remember where I heard it, but it really, really helped change things for me, because obviously we're always kind of looking at other people, especially on, like, Instagram and even in the street. So whenever I see someone and I think, oh my God, they're absolutely beautiful, instead of thinking their beauty is taken away from my beauty, I say, they are beautiful, but so am I. Or I'll be like, oh my God, their body is amazing, but so is mine. Like, I always like finish it off with saying, but so am I, because it really just makes you come back to yourself and personally for me, it reminds me that, like, I am completely unique and I'm beautiful in my own right. So yeah, I might admire someone's beauty and you think, oh my God, they're stunning, I love that about them. But I'm like, but so am I. Their beauty doesn't take away from mine. So definitely try that affirmation, guys, because I think that really, really helps, especially with comparison, because then you can admire anyone in the world. Yeah. But as long as you're actually just finishing that with a positive affirmation back to yourself. Yeah, exactly. Because, like, the comparison is, like, something that everyone struggles with. You're online looking at things, you typically kind of subconsciously comparing, and it's like having that awareness to not do that, and then having a positive thought to replace it with is, like, really powerful. But that brings us to the end of this episode. We really, really hope you enjoyed it, and wherever you are on your own self-love journey with your body, I hope you took away something from it, because we are students of life and we've got to always just keep learning and keep building that awareness of how we speak to ourselves to ultimately set ourselves free. Yes. And if you want to take your body positivity journey a little bit further, we actually have a affirmation playlist on our website, which we will link in the show notes below, findyourfeetpodcast.com, where you can download the 15-minute body positivity affirmation playlist. It's got like nice relaxing music behind it. It's got affirmations that we've written and recorded in a really calming voice, so you can just play it, while you're getting ready. Maybe it's something you could actually play whilst you're like doing mirror work. So maybe like, you are stood in front of the mirror and maybe your underwear or whatever, and maybe that's something that you normally run from the mirror and you find that really hard to do. So maybe you're at the point where you don't feel like you can actually say the affirmations yourself, but if you're stood in front of the mirror and you're playing this playlist and you're starting to let that sink into your mind, like that can be really effective and powerful. But we will link that in the show notes so that you can download that. You get lifetime access to the playlist.
Yeah, like we didn't even mention that, but definitely digital affirmations are something that really, really changed the game. You could just play it in the background and just get on with your day. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, come and let us know on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast, and we would love it if you would leave us an Apple Podcast review. We really love to know your thoughts on the episodes.
And don't forget, if you do want to start your therapy journey, just head to betterhelp.com/findyourfeet for 10% off your entire first month of therapy. But we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.